Welcome to the Samford Edible Garden Trail. Today is an incredible day. It's actually the afternoon here. We're catching the last little bit of light and we are on another road trip. We've come to Mackay. It's our first time ever to far north Queensland, and the reason we've come here is that we've started to get people following our trail from all around Queensland. And a friend of mine, Janine, who's actually filming for us today, happened to know somebody who was following the trail, and we set up this weekend where I could come up with her, and we've decided to come and meet a couple of the people who've been following us in Mackay. So we've taken a few videos, and today we're meeting Mandy. So Mandy, hello.
Hello.
Thank you very much for having us on your property.
You're welcome.
Now, I'd love to give a bit of a context here. Janine has been telling me about your property actually for the last few months. And this is a property that I've been so excited to visit. So my understanding is your property here is about 10 acres.
Yes.
And we're south of Mackay,
Yes.
which Mackay's about an hour's flight north of Brisbane, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And around us are cane farms. And you actually are cane farmers yourselves. You've got about
Yes.
350 acres.
Is
that something like that?
Yeah, it's about 115 hectares, so I'm not sure what that is
Okay.
in acres, yes.
Of cane farmers, and right sort of in the middle here is your property with your home.
Yes.
And this incredible, I don't know, do we call it a garden that's leaning towards self-sufficiency, or sort of aiming towards self-sufficiency?
Yes.
So we will be taking a few videos. Okay, right, this one's the garden tour. We're going to focus on this little section here, which is about 15 meters by 10 meters, and this is a veggie garden. And we will also be doing some videos on black soldier flies.
Yes.
You're preserving kefir
Yes.
grains,
Yes.
fermenting. We're going to cover lots and lots of really interesting things. So please look out for those videos. Okay, but right now I wanted to show you this garden, this veggie garden, and every garden we go to is different and unique. But when I came here and I saw this one, my heart just sang, this is like my dream veggie garden patch. So, Mandy,
Yes.
I would like to first ask you, what is this?
Well, this is my happy place. This is where I go for peace and tranquility. And I've developed a bit of a philosophy that anything that I grow here has to feed my animals, my goats and my horses. I have 2 goats and 2 horses. We've actually got 3 horses on the property. It's got to feed my native bees that I've had for a year, and they've been doing really, really well. It's got to feed us, and it's got to feed the soil. I'm really interested in soil health.
Right. And so what have we got here?
Okay.
Is this feeding you? Or is
No,
it...
this is for the animals. And
is for the animals.
Every day I like to, if possible, I like to pick a salad bowl for the horses to give them some diversity. And I
What's
am
in
growing
here?
Moringa oleifera. It's an amazing tree. It's a fodder tree for animals, and every part of it's also known the miracle tree, the drumstick tree. Every part of that tree is edible, tastes amazing. And I've got Pigeon Pea, which is an awesome pioneering shrub. The peas themselves, they develop into a pod, and they can be eaten like dal, like lentils or dal, and the goats and the horses absolutely love them. So every afternoon I like to sort of go with a big bucket and pick a whole heap of stuff for the animals, and then pick what I'm going to have for dinner as much as possible. Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's like the animals get this organic salad mix.
Yes.
All right, so we'll have a look at these plants when we get to them down there.
Yeah.
Let's start. We're going to wander down here. Janine, let's go this way. So this patch, when did this start? How old is this?
Okay, probably about 5 years ago when we started the farming project, the lease. We had a whole heap of topsoil that we brought in where my husband was doing some levelling, and brought it in here, and we had one massive crop of sweet potatoes, and just my philosophy has changed, rather going from a monoculture or monocrop to just diversity. So
Okay.
I'm growing lots of different things.
Okay, so you brought in, so when you said you started the lease, that was
Yes.
on the cane,
Yes.
the cane farm.
Yes.
So you brought in a whole heap of soil,
Yes.
dumped it on
Yes.
here,
Yes.
and then what else have you done to the soil since? Like, what do you
Mulching.
put in it?
Lots of mulching, feeding with compost, and just planting a lot of different things.
So first of all, this looks like bamboo.
That's
So you-
bamboo litter.
Okay.
Yes. So we've got a big stand of bamboo at the house, and it drops a lot of the leaves. So the gardens are just being automatically mulched with the bamboo litter. And so a lot of it comes in under the patio. So I take the garden blower and push it all together and then bring it in a wheelbarrow, and it makes an awesome mulch
Great.
for the garden.
Okay, that's
And
good to know.
I use cane mulch, and I'll go and collect some cane tops after they've harvested and sort of cover it. I've really come to see that the soil needs to be covered. No
Yeah.
naked soil.
Okay.
Don't like
And so you're able to use, are you buying in mulch as well, or you're pretty
I
much able
have
to
I
use?
have in the past bought hay mulch if I want to do a project. And
Okay, but otherwise
more
you're
in.
using what's on the property, you're using the bamboo,
that's game. That's
the
game.
sugarcane
Yes.
offcuts
Or
and...
my compost that I'm composting
composting.
myself. Yeah.
Okay, well, I like this. So you've got a path
Yes.
down the middle, and then are they rows, or what's your style?
It's all a bit eclectic. There is some organisation, but it's a little bit eclectic. I've got some themes happening here. Obviously, we've got the pineapples here. I'm using this area here to grow my bee food. I've got ginger. I planted a nice big patch of ginger. Planted some nasturtiums, some sweet leaf. I'm interested in growing Asian greens, perhaps rather than the traditional, cauliflower, carrots, and so I'm trying to incorporate those as well. Chilies and
So some things that are more suited to the climate here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wander here. Janine, do you want to see if you can capture a little bit what's down this side, and we'll follow you down. Yeah.
So I'm trying to make as much use of the space that I've got here. So I've planted my ginger, and the ginger is only just starting to sprout. So I wanted to make use of the space, and
So I
I've
can see
planted
this.
carrots. So that's the ginger now coming up. So there are rows of ginger here, and I've planted some beetroot. This is linseed. Just sort of toss some linseed around for the bees and the butterflies. What have we got? Beetroot.
What's this one?
That's the linseed.
Oh, that's the linseed.
And it's got a beautiful little white flower.
Okay.
And as we go a little bit further, you'll see these white flowering shrubs. That's coriander that's gone to seed. So they self-seeded from last year. So they're probably about third generation of self-seeding. We're just letting them go to seed.
Yep.
And wherever they come up, they come up. And if I want to clear a patch because I want to grow something, I'll happily pull it out and
then plant something else.
plant something else. Yeah.
So are you sort of rotating?
Yes, very much.
Okay.
Very much. Always, it's very fluid. Obviously, there are some things that don't change, like the pineapple and the strawberries at the moment. But the tomatoes, they'll move. I planted tomatillos. They've only been planted in the last few weeks, maybe a month or so. Nasturtiums is the first time that I've grown nasturtiums. Love them. Love the colour. Borage. That's the first time that I've grown the borage successfully.
And that's for the bees?
That's for the bees. I've got a native beehive. I'm new to native bees, and I've had a native beehive for a year. And we split the hive last week, and it had such a full brood. A really, really full brood.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So this is the pigeon pea. You've got
Yes.
heads here. So are you pruning this quite constantly for the animals?
Yes, it breaks off quite easily like that, and I will just you know, daily, and I can rotate. Like if I've given that a really good trim and I want to let it, well then I might take Moringa, or I've got cos lettuce that's almost going up to seed that we didn't get through to eat.
Yeah.
And it's self-seeding, and I'll just plant a new batch. And
Okay.
so just constantly,
Constantly.
yeah, constantly.
Okay.
Moving around.
I'd like to ask you about these yellow
Right.
bottles here.
These
What's
are
this
for
all about?
These are for the fruit flies.
Okay.
I'm an avid. I love op shops. I love recycling or tip shops, and I've become a little bit of a hoarder. But these, I've learnt that the fruit fly are attracted to yellow, and these were some lids that I found at a chemical shop where you buy plastics and stuff like that, and I just used the concept that I've seen with other fruit fly traps, and I'm using some fruit fly attractant in one and like the yeast combination to capture the male and the female. And
Okay, so each one's got a different thing in it?
Yes, one of
Okay.
them has got the attractant with the pheromones, and the other one's got the protein with the yeast, the Vegemite, and the...
Okay,
Yeah.
does it lift off? Can I have a closer look at it?
Oh, actually, this one's been a bit neglected.
Okay.
And has, yeah, we've got some...
So, oh, there's something there. So, you cut a hole.
Yes.
You can see a bit closer. You've cut a hole there, and then this you
Yes.
bought. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like
Came
a
out.
funnel end. Yeah.
Okay. And the idea is you filled it with something,
Yes.
and the fruit fly goes in
Yes.
and then drowns.
Yes, and can't find its way out. So it does seem
Do you
to
find
be,
that it works?
does seem to be working, yes.
Okay, if
Yeah.
you just got a few around the property.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoops. Sorry, I hope I haven't.
No, where did that end go?
It's right in the middle of the Pigeon Pea.
There we go.
We love these ideas. I know you've got lots of homemade things.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that in some of our other videos. I can't wait. So let's make our way a little bit further down. I can see that you've harvested some sweet potato.
Yes.
These
Yes,
look
I
good.
was I was a little bit impatient, and it was an important lesson for me about the watering. So the soil has got
we
a
have a
high,
look?
yeah, the soil's got a high clay content, and it dries very heavy, you know, when it does get dry. So I was surface watering, thinking that, you know, it was getting good water, but I dug deeply with the pitchfork, and it was really hard and really dried underneath. So I pulled them all out, all of the sweet potatoes out, and I've got a lot of very small, and normally you'd be quite disappointed, but I've got a bucket full of these, and I roasted them up, and they were quite tasty. So I did get some half decent sized sweet potatoes. So I fed the soil. I want to put a lot of humus in there, and I've planted just something as a cover crop, and I used a parrot mix that's got, what did I say, sorghum, sunflower, some wheat, and I'll just let that grow. I don't want to put the sweet potato in straight away, so I'll plant a few different crops in there, and then I'll plant sweet potato
Okay.
in there.
And so if you wanted to, you would just plant some of these little ones again. Is that right?
Yes, although they do say that it's better to use slips. The slips are the little runners.
You come over here.
So
Okay.
that you're avoiding if there are any nematodes or any disease in the sweet potato.
So from this patch, so you would just
So-
pull up some.
Yes.
And
so
then
I've got a couple of mounds. So I actually mounded up and brought like some extra soil and put it on top. So that's why it was raised up a little bit. And I got lots of those little runners, or lots of those little roots, and I'm sure that they would have developed into a good size. But
Okay.
I harvested them to a
Bit too soon,
Bit too
right.
impatient, yeah.
yeah, it makes a really nice kind of
cover,
ground cover
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
doesn't it? And more of the coriander.
Yes,
Now,
lots of coriander.
you mentioned something I wanted to ask about. You said something sweet leaf. Is that what you said it was called?
Yes.
I don't know what sweet leaf is.
This is sweet leaf over here. Shall I go in?
Can we
there?
go in there? Is that you've got some?
So this is
Oh, do you want to go in there, Denise?
Yeah.
So we can.
a sweet leaf, and it's got, how would you describe the flavour of that?
Oh no. We've had some funny examples where I try things and you're going to warn me, am I going to get a crazy aftertaste?
It's beautiful steamed. I use this, I pick the tips of it and I steam it. It's just got a really nice, mild, leafy, I don't know, broccolini type.
I was going to say, so this
Yeah.
is the one, it's a little
Yes.
bit like, it's got a kind of a broccoli
Yes,
sort
yes,
of a
yeah.
flavour to it.
Yeah. So I love
Waiting for
I
the
love that.
aftertaste.
No,
that hasn't really
it
come
was the
through.
moringa that was
Yeah,
peppery.
that had the
yeah,
aftertaste.
the moringa was peppery. So I've got quite a few of them, and I keep them small. I have seen them as quite a big bush, but I keep them small and just
Okay.
harvest the tips and
So it's called
steam them.
sweet leaf. So
Sweet
steam
leaf.
them. I mean, you
Yeah.
could throw a leaf like
Oh,
that
absolutely.
in a salad.
In soups, salads.
Salad.
Yeah.
And it's a perennial. It's going to keep.
Yes.
Because I mean, they look
Yes.
pretty. Looks like
Yes.
quite thick. You've
So
had
they
these
were
for
from
a while.
well, these were from cuttings.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll grow from cuttings.
Well, that's great. I'm always looking for
Yeah.
perennials.
Yes.
Do you grow a lot of your own greens? Do you find
Yes.
that that's one thing that you're pretty
yes,
self-sufficient in?
I'm really not buying a lot of greens.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
place to start, isn't it? Because
Yes.
there's so many different varieties
Yeah.
of greens that we can grow
Yes.
that you
Yeah.
can't buy. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
buy that in a shop, but
No,
that's
no.
absolutely something that you can
No.
start to cook
And
with.
I've started using the leaves of the beetroot. I find that it's got a little bit of a salty, I don't know, a very
Yeah.
pleasant taste
Taste.
to add to salads.
Can I ask you, I mean, we're
Yeah, sure.
standing right in the middle of your garden bed at the
Yes.
moment. So normally, we try not to walk on a garden bed.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
does this work on a practical level? It looks to me like you've got a little bit of like a mound and then a path.
Yes,
Is that what
yeah.
you've got? Or like, have you got areas that you would walk along here?
Well,
Or-
I probably don't walk in here a lot, but I know that the ginger is here, so I can carefully walk between it. I've
Okay.
planted the carrots and yeah, I am trying to grow in the rows
Yeah.
in the direction.
Okay. What's that one there? Is that a lettuce?
This is tree lettuce, so it grows quite tall, and then you can just break the leaves off. I said to you earlier, as a salad green, it probably wouldn't be my preference for a lettuce. I prefer the cos lettuce, but it's awesome for worm food, goat food,
Great.
the horses. Chop and drop green mulch.
You've given me a lot to think about that, because it's
Yeah.
true. Like, for example, I've got a few worm farms, and I mean, all of our compost is either going to our chickens, it goes in worm farm. We
Yeah.
don't have enough to feed our
Yeah,
worms.
yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
actually,
You
know,
need to grow
you need
something
to-
for your worms.
to grow things. So that's our idea. So you're
Yeah.
thinking around.
Yeah.
You're growing for
Yeah.
yourself. You're growing for your animals. You're
Yes.
growing for the bees.
Yes.
And also you're growing for your compost.
Yes.
And
yes.
your soldier flies and
Yes.
your worms,
Yes.
which we're going to find out about.
Yes.
Just-
Yeah.
And very.
And the
it's
moringa.
great. So
Yes.
this is the moringa. Okay.
Yes.
I've heard a lot about moringa. It's not something I've grown yet, but I know there are a lot of medicinal properties with moringa. I don't know what they are though.
The Indians and the Asians love their moringa, so I'm probably not using it to its best
Potential,
and
right.
to its potential. I have dried a bunch of moringa, and that's quite easy. Just pull the leaves off, and then I put it on a cloth, and then just sun dried it, and then so that's beautiful in soups and salads. It's got quite a peppery sort of a taste. Did you notice that? And so if you get these little tips here, they're beautiful to steam. Just the little soft tips. So that's probably how I use it, and I'm sure people use it. The Indians like to use the drumstick. So it's called the drumstick tree or the miracle tree. Every part of that tree is edible.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, the miracle tree. I've heard people say that if you had nothing else
Yes,
and you were
yes.
desperate, you could eat that.
Yes.
So much.
Yes. So these probably look very different to what people are used to. They're quite big trees,
Yeah.
but I have kept them short because I'm constantly
Constantly harvesting.
harvesting them. So if you've got a small acreage and you want to have those greens, the more you pick it, the bushier they'll get,
Yeah.
and you can keep them quite.
I can see how thick the trunk is there.
Yes.
So it's obviously
Yeah.
been. Can you see in a bit closer there, Janine, so we can see where it's obviously an old tree, but you've just been pruning.
Yes.
And so this
Yeah.
is also when you're giving to the animals.
Yes. Oh, the horses and the goats, they love the moringa.
What are you using the dried for?
Ah,
Do you know yet, or is it the first time you've done it?
no, you can buy powdered moringa. People are using it in smoothies.
Oh,
If I have it dried, it goes beautifully in eggs. So if you've got it there ready to go, and you just pop a handful in your soups and eggs,
All
beautiful.
right. I'm going to add that to my list.
Yeah.
Moringa. Now, I'm a huge fan of sunflowers. These look very happy.
Yeah.
There's like multiple heads on these sunflowers.
Yep.
They look beautiful.
Can't be sure what variety. I think they're a variety that I buy the sunflower seeds from the supermarket, and the goats love it. You know, I just give that as a treat, and I'll just toss them, and wherever they grow. If I wanted to do something now, I'd quite happily pull it out, because I
Yeah.
would feed it to the goats, and it's feeding the bees. And
I find them such a happy plant, and I
They
like
are
to include that, all these flowers you've got around here. It's all part of the same garden, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's beautiful.
Yes.
I love it when things go to seed like this.
yes, yes,
I can see you've got some watermelon
yes.
growing there. So I have a question about how much of the year do you grow, and how do you cope in summer? So there's no shade cloth over here.
No.
Are you able to? I mean, we're further south, where Samford Valley's
Yeah.
a little bit further south, and we can't really grow
Yes,
anything in
yes.
January, February,
Yes.
unless you've got a shade cloth over it.
Yep.
What happens here? Does
Well,
it go
the
bare?
sun, well, the sun's coming from over here, so in the middle of the day it can get quite hot, and they look a little bit sad during the day, but they'll perk up. I've got overhead sprinklers, so I can give it a water every day. We've had a wonderful season. The creek's got plenty of water, so I'm enjoying growing lots of things. And then the afternoon sun is protected from these trees. So this, from probably about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, then you're getting, some shade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you grow? So something is growing here. All
If you've got water, probably the dill, the coriander, that will finish off. That probably won't grow.
Okay.
Then, and I think it's going to get too hot then for lettuce. Like a lot of the lettuce
Yes.
is shooting up to seed. I've allowed the coriander, the rocket, to go to seed for the bees, and I actually prefer these smaller leaves. Once it goes up to seed, you get smaller leaves rather than the big ones.
And this will just grow up again the next
That
season.
will, yeah. So I'll save some of those seeds, or I will pull it out once the seeds are dry, and then put them in an area where I might want them to grow next year.
All right. So a few questions that came to my mind then. Are you planting out seedlings? Are you planting seeds directly in the ground? What's your style?
Seeds, definitely seeds.
Okay.
I
Straight into the ground?
straight into the ground. Yeah.
Right.
I'll dig a say for this rocket here, I'll use a mattock or a hoe, and I'll pull all the the mulch aside. I'll use the hoe to loosen up the soil a little bit, plant the seed in there, cover it up, and Bob's your uncle.
Do you get anything digging it up? Any animals or?
We have had in the past bandicoots, but I think the fence might be helping us a little bit, so we don't have the scrub turkeys anymore. We did have scrub turkeys at one point, so I think the fence is helping. With the smaller ones can come through, but yeah, we don't seem to have a big problem.
And
at the moment.
are you using, so each time you plant then, are you using any kind of fertilizer, or are you doing anything to the soil each time, or what's?
Whenever I rearrange, I'll pull off and I'll put compost, and I'll put, sometimes I'll use horse manure, the frass from the black soldier flies, which we're going to talk about a bit later.
Yes.
So all my food waste is processed and it all goes back into the soil.
Yeah, I'm really keen. So which is the secret ingredient? Is it the frass? Is it the worm castings? I know
it's everything.
It's everything.
Everything just meshes beautifully together, and one of my passions is closing the loop, and just everything organic is going into compost, feeding the worms or the soldier flies, which all ends up back in the soil.
Okay.
Did you notice the loofahs?
Oh, I didn't before, but they're along the fence.
Yeah.
And do you feed that to the animals?
Yes, the horses love the loofah, the worms love the loofah, the black soldier flies love the loofah.
The actual,
the plant.
Yes. The leaves or the loofah
fruit
bit that's got the fruit?
Yes, so
before it turns into that loofah-looking
so a few of them I've let go to loofah and use them actually as loofah.
Okay.
But if you pick them when they're about that size, the horses will eat them.
Okay.
I have eaten them, but I don't like them that much. They got a little bit of a muddy sort of a, I don't know, a bit of a different, bit frothier than zucchinis.
Yes.
Not my favourite.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm growing it for the
animals.
Yeah.
So it's worth growing just for the
I think
animals.
so.
Good. Yeah. I wondered about it because I didn't want to end up with lots and lots of loofah, but that's a reason to.
They do grow very prolifically.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly when I planted them, but they're still going strong.
Good.
Still
Okay. So we've got time probably for my last question is here. This size garden, I mean, it's a beautiful size. You're obviously able to grow a lot here. How often would you come in your garden?
Every day.
Oh, yeah.
Every day. Yeah. I mean, it does. This time of the year is very busy, but this is my happy place. This is my therapy, and even if it's just to walk through and just have a look and see what's happening. Yeah.
This feels like, for me, a dream space as a vegetable garden. It's really inspiring. And I love how all the different gardens we go to, everybody's is different. I love this creative process that we're discovering here. Well, we're really discovering with the trail, but every garden is really different. And this is a really beautiful design. I love it. And I'm keen to chat with you more.
Yes.
Which we will continue to do. So thanks for showing us this part of the garden. And keep following us on the garden trail, the Samford Edible Garden Trail. You can obviously follow us on our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. Every 2 weeks we go and visit a different garden. We look at gardens in our own local area, and we've also started doing these what do you call it, road trips, because we're getting to know people outside of our area, and our whole purpose is about sharing ideas. And so thanks for sharing what you're doing here, because every garden we show, I think, can appeal to a different person, and we all pick up different ideas. So thanks for joining us, and look out for the other videos. See you soon.
Bye.